Día 34 minutos. Desde esta mañana Caracas es de nuevo escenario de disturbios. Imágenes que nos llegan a esta hora en vivo en la nueva jornada de protestas de la cada vez más tensa Venezuela. La policía está avanzando, hay varios camarógrafos heridos, varios estudiantes, varios jóvenes. Me voy a quejar. Lo que está sucediendo en vivo. Lo que está sucediendo en vivo. Cuando en Caracas son las 1:29 de la tarde, los disturbios de los cuerpos de seguridad de la Policía Nacional del Estado, dirigidos por el Ministerio de Interior y Justicia,
Smoke. Smoke.
I live the life I deserve. Bless. Fuck a vacay, I feel better at work. I mean whatever it's worth, I give whatever I'm worth. For my niggas who gon' go to hell and back for me, I'ma give them heaven on earth for a hell of a check, yeah, whichever come first. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Look at my life, man, that's lessons on lessons on lessons. I treat the beat like it's a reverend. I tell the truth like Father, forgive me, these are all my confessions, man. This wasn't luck, it was destined. I done lost homies who been with me since Ed and Eddie, who flip like confetti. And then when you back, they back to call you dog. That shit can get petty, bitch, don't get no dap to me, nigga. Funny thing about talking behind my back is that it just keep coming back to me, nigga. Was off for a sec, now it's back to me, nigga. You mad at me? This ain't what I want, man. This what it had to be. This is that late night working after 3, man. This is why my old girl was mad at me. This why I'm your majesty, man. The click is the tightest, the pussy the tightest, the drinks are the coldest, the future the brightest, the feet not divided, the love is divided, and I just gotta thank God that we got it. Bless. I don't know what I would do without a crew. Look like we robbed a bank, but all we make is deposits. Young profit with profit, oh God. I ain't gon' say that we back or nothing, cause that implies that we're back from something. If we're back from something, it's some checks you owe us. I expect that payment, nothing less or over. I don't need them favors that you asked me for. I could give two fucks about where the Grammys go. I just gave out Grammys on my Instagram. Them OVO boys a business, man. It is what it is. Trust me, you get what you give. Yeah. You gotta come to my side and see how we live. Yeah. I cannot see heaven being much better than this. Yeah. Blessings on blessings for me and my niggas from the 6. Look at what we did. Yeah.
You need great marketing videos to grow your business. With Promo, you can create commercial-level videos in minutes. Choose from over 12 million
Yeah, dude,
Well,
you still got the video.
Yeah, there's no. Now they can hear us, and we're a few seconds behind. Turn that off so we don't echo.
Come on, have we downloaded the files?
No.
Alright, we need to do that.
Guys, we're posting the files. Keep hammering and checking on that.
Oh, do it up. Hey, we're still here, y'all. Just uploading the file. They can hear us. We're live.
That's the newest number I know. This is happening, guys. It's real. I'm watching him press the button. He's pressing it with the necro finger.
The necro finger. Yes. Alright, now.
Hey, someone using the white Sharpie that was,
Did we maybe accidentally move it? When
Yeah,
we
we're
pulled the
using it.
sofa?
We were using it for the camera, but you can take the camera out now. Alright, back to the sauce. There we go. Now we're in it.
Oh.
They can see the screen.
did you post the file?
Yeah, the file posted.
Wonderful.
So we did the thing, guys.
Yeah, they said they see the file.
Alright.
Or at least some of them do.
Alright, Chris, so your job, keep up with the chat. If you get any questions, relay them, you know what I'm saying?
I'll also go in. I'll just mute my phone. Alright, guys. So I'm going to be looking for questions on the chat. If I don't get to it, sorry. Bear with me. But I'm letting you know we are reading the things you say. So if there's a question we need to address, we'll definitely try our best to get to them.
Alright, so how's the sound? It's good? Everything's... Can y'all hear me alright?
I'm not up yet. Chris, are they saying they can hear us?
Yeah, they heard us earlier. They see the file.
Just making sure they can hear. Okay.
But like I'm seconds behind the stream. So yeah, they all say yes.
Wonderful. Alright. So this is...
This is a little quiet, but not bad.
Alright, so let's turn it up a little bit then.
Yeah, we might just need to also be projecting directly at the mic.
Is there a way to turn the mic up any or?
I'm afraid not. We're just gonna have to talk about yay close. I bet you this sounds really good.
Alright. Just close. Get in.
Yeah, just be loud. You know what,
Is there a way for me to pull up comments like this? Sorry, guys. I'm incredibly old.
Alright, well, whenever you get
Alright.
into it,
Here we go.
you'll have like the chat at the bottom. And what you want is you want to click. There'll be two. It'll be top chat and live chat. You want to go to live chat.
Okay.
Cool. We'll be keeping track of the comments as they come through.
Okay, yeah. Teddy, you sounded great when your face was like right in.
Yeah, you gotta eat the mic.
All right, wonderful. Oh, kill the fan.
We'll have to do that as well.
Guess I'm gonna move closer to you guys then.
Gather round, gather round. All right, so just to give everyone a quick itinerary, we're gonna go through the.
You're just gonna have to hold it.
We're gonna go through the basic rule book, and then we're gonna take a little break.
They can hear us now.
We had a moment where it unplugged, guys. Sorry. We're trying to get it as close so you could hear all of us as accurately as possible.
Just go to the thing. You can see.
See what?
Yeah. Play. Yeah, they can hear us.
Wonderful.
My ears!
Okay, they can hear us now.
All right, cool. So, most of the setting is going to be staying the same. The new iteration is going to take place when the frontier town has been established in Aradeti Forest. So, except for some things that are going to be changed, the game is going to take place kind of like a time warp, where everything's going to reset and things are going to start over from as though they restarted a few years ago. And then the game's going to continue from there. For character builds, so something new that every character has to do, every character has to submit a character destiny or character fate. This is going to be something that everyone needs to do, and we want it to be something challenging. You know, it needs to be something good. It can't be, I just want to get like a sandwich. Well, if it's going to be a sandwich, it needs to be like the best sandwich ever made in Mordavia.
Tier 5 materials.
All the sandwiches.
Yes. And so your character destiny will allow us as storytellers to help kind of cater the game to you, to give you opportunities to try and, you know, accomplish your character destiny. But in our world, heroic souls, as we all know, have free will. So you're not guaranteed to have your destiny come to fruition if other heroic souls and unfated NPC souls end up getting in your way. But if you complete your character destiny or fate, that is how you will properly retire a character. So now, if you don't complete your character destiny and retire your character, you will not get the full new character benefits. All right, let's start getting into some of the good stuff, some of the changes. All right, so we've got a couple changes here at Tier 1 created. So Golem Affinity 1 you'll recognize as Consume Materials, but now it's a larger progression. There's a Tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 ability of it. Golem's Grip gives you a resist against a single disarm attack. And that's going to build into Golem's Grip 2, which was the meld with item. Let's see, everything else there is pretty much staying the same. Oh, and the same with Transfer Essence. We just changed the name to have Transfer Essence progress a little bit higher up than it once did. Okay, so something new that's very important to all created is Golem Affinity 2. So a golem can eat 5 ranks of gems, and they essentially grow a gem that is embedded in their forehead. This augments all of their magic mana cannons, and it augments their Golem Affinity 3. So you essentially can be a created that is socketed with a pearl, and now your magic cannon will be an innate 50 holy. Or you can socket it with an amethyst gem, and you could deliver an innate 50 vial, but you would be considered an illegal created because you would be a necromantic created. But
yeah, this ability set has in-play role-play implications.
Yes. So, you know, if you are created that's imbued with a pearl and you decide to go on a mod to the Abyss, you know, they might not take so kindly to that. But it all depends. And of course, this upgrades later into Golem Affinity 3. So that was your Consume Materials 2. And now you can still eat your gems to be able to gain an innate 25 attack. But it's only gems based on your socketed type. So before, luckily no created decided to really break it, but you could just gobble down gems of any type and just throw unlimited damage pretty much as long as you had resources. So at least doing this, your created are going to be limited to a single attack type, but you can get some flavor. And of course, magic, the tagline, no longer has anything that's immune to it. So the one benefit of maintaining the pure magic tagline is that nothing or almost nothing is immune to magic anymore. So you can use magic against things and almost always know that it's going to affect them. And then, of course, you have Golem's Grip 2, which was Meld Weapon. Mainly, we just thought that it was really strong to pick up one advantage and suddenly be immune to disarms with one item and have a free soulbind. So we still liked Created doing it, but now you have to spend a whole level to get that ability. Alright, and so now for Demons. A couple fun changes here. So Natural Claws. More like unnatural claws, but it's going to be an activated to add the pierce attack to a single unarmed physical attack. Now this can be comboed with strikes and other attacks, so while you can't coat your claws or your unarmed attacks, you can combo it. So a really good tier 1 combo would be to deliver a pierce power strike. So you can, pierce 12, 14 damage onto somebody. And that's pretty powerful. And so this helps out your vampires trying to go into a combat build. Or, of course, you can still combo it with Paralyzing Claw. Or Paralyzing Attack. And then, of course, Resilience. We got rid of the ability for you to resist and exsanguinate. We really thought that exsanguinates and executes got used so rarely that they didn't need a specific resist for it. And a higher tier resilience actually gets really cool abilities that y'all will like. Oh, and then of course, just for aesthetics, we changed Demonic Servant to Demonic Minion because we feel like that anyone who is controlled by a demon should be called or referred to as a minion. So from now on, demons collect bunches of minions. And if you have the sigil on you, you are that demon's minion.
So Demonic Minion is supposed to be only willing, right, Matt?
Yes, only willing. Is that... Yes, on a willing character.
There you go. I'm listening to you, Kobe.
Cool. Yeah, if you're not willing for this right here, it doesn't actually serve the target direct benefit. So it's really up to the demon to try and convince you to become his demonic minion by offering you gifts and powers and maybe liege. I mean not liege, legion to give you increased strength. All right, and then Hex Affinity. One of the most broken abilities in the whole game. Yeah, if you were a demon and you had it, you know all about it. And if you weren't a demon, you still probably knew about it. So, we decided we liked it, though. We liked the idea of the demon brokering hexed items. And for the record, cursed items, since there's an ability called Curse, are going to be called hexed items or hexes. So, if you have a terrible effect on you, it's going to be because you're hexed. And Curse will be a specific status effect. So Hex Affinity, you can activate it and you can take a hexed item from a willing character, or you can give someone a hexed item that's already on you. And then, of course, you'll get more Hex Affinity later, so that way, every day you can take and give and trade hexed items between people.
Hey, be sure, everyone out there, to share this post, get your people on here. We got about 28 people watching now. Make sure everybody's aware that it's going on. We're doing it right now. You can see the thing right now and talk to us right now. So make sure on your social media, Facebook, message your friends.
Our thing is out, and we want you to see it.
Yeah.
Yes, and tier 4 and 5 is of course going to be coming later, and I know that's what everybody really wants to get into. So, but going on, so Dreamwalker 2, that has also changed. So Dreamwalker 2 caused the target to lose IAs, so it was really just a salt ability. It was like, hey, let me just salt this one character and take a couple of his IAs and whatever. So we decided to make it a little cooler. So now it kind of matters what house your demon is from, because if you pick up Dreamwalker 2, besides the regular roleplay benefits, you can use Dreamwalker 2 to directly communicate with your Abyssal Lord. So if you get this, you get to send a dream message to your Abyssal Lord, who is, always or usually a tier 5 Grandmaster demon who knows all kinds of secrets and things, and he'll commune back with you. And, yeah. And then, of course, you get another Natural Claws 2, so you get your second Pierce attack. And then, of course, Resilience 3, you finally get an upgrade from it, increasing your bleeding and dissipation count, and the demon gets an Embrace Death. So now Resilience, I mean, a lot of people would only buy 1, maybe 2 ranks of it, but now, I mean, if you don't want to go Necromancy, but you want to have the benefits of Embrace Death, you go into Resilience. And, of course, as a staple, you need to know to consecrate powerful demons. So if you want to kill a powerful demon, you should probably consecrate them or dispel them or something to ensure that they're killed.
Hint, hint.
And then, of course, Scribe Runic Tattoo 2 no longer gives the demon a constant arcane ability from a spell. Instead, it allows them to scribe tattoos onto other characters. And, of course, the benefit of a tattoo is that a tattoo the item cannot be searched or stolen from you normally. And in fact, you're going to need special abilities to be able to even see those tattoos on someone. So it can be very useful if you're trying to hide, just a few spells on yourself. And of course, we also expanded the details of all the houses of sin. Since every demon has to pick one, we wanted to make sure that there's plenty of information for you to go on. Especially because the Abyssal Lords are going to play an important role in the demons' lives. So even if you wanted to try and avoid the whole political thing or metaphysical dealings of the sins as a demon, it'll be hard pressed for you to escape that story, I think. And elves. Oh man, arguably one of the best races, right? If not the best race. Well, first off, we're nerfing their constitution from 7 to 6.
Squish.
So, just a little bit more squishy, I think. But they're also getting True Strike. So their accuracy for ranged weapons was cool, but you know what? We decided to give them a buff, so their accuracy also works with one-handed melee weapons.
Everybody get it.
So an elf, so if you're a Zana, if you're a slippery character, you're going to have to watch out for elves. They will get you. And of course, Surgeon, we're still messing with the name of that. We just didn't want to call it Holistics Affinity. But it progresses a little bit differently later. And then, of course, for Weapon Finesse, we gave it a slight buff where Weapon Finesse also helps your defense against disarmed attacks. So picking up Weapon Finesse will actually allow you to be immune to a Tier 1 disarm from Black Magic. So pretty useful as an elf.
Elves fighting demons,
Ha
Of course, you get another True Strike. It follows the accurate progression. And then Righteous still does the same thing, but it follows the new demon kind of progression where now you take a hexed item from a willing character and now you suffer the hexes of it. But unlike a demon, you can't get rid of this item. So like the truly righteous elf that you are, you take a hexed item from somebody and now it's your burden to bear till Tier 5, really. So have fun with that. But hey, they're righteous though. That's how it goes. And then of course, the Gift of Gebelices. So this was an ability that was actually called Longevity at Tier 4. And now Gift of Gebelices gives not only potentially the elf 1 resurrection, but the elf can give it as a gift to someone else. So the elves, of course, are going to be able to give someone a life if they're your buddy. But of course, in play, elves and elven culture typically tell other elves never to give their longevity to non-elves. So if you see that in play, that's going to be really special, for an elf to give up their life to a non-elf or to someone else.
That's hint number 2.
But of course, that's their total ability to do so. And then range precision, we gave it a slight buff. So range precision starts at +2 damage. You get an additional +3 damage at Tier 3, and then that progresses again to a total of 9 damage at Tier 5. So instead of 2 damage a tier, you get a slight progression for a little bit more damage. And of course, we finally have the details of all of the houses of 7 virtue, or 7 houses of virtue. And so an elf has to pick one of these to the houses of virtue. And of course, you know what that means. That means Lords of Elven Virtue.
Yeah, and just an important note here is that demons are born into a house of sin, and it is something that they either choose to embrace or struggle to fight against and change throughout the course of their lives. Whereas the elves are not born into a house of virtue. It is something that they actively choose as a character to, embody as being an elf. And elves are not, they're not forced to pick any of these houses, but doing so will ostracize you from quote-unquote mainstream elf society. Oh, also, being one of these virtuous elves does not mean that you are a quote-unquote good elf. You could be a merciful type elf and think that you're doing great charity for the world by wiping out all vampires and their babies.
And you might be.
Yeah. Your evil elf will just take one of the virtues and try and, potentially twist it in some way. But every elf is going to have to pick their virtue that they can't change later on. At least not normally. It takes a lot of special role play to have that change.
Yeah, and the virtues that we have are slightly modified from some of the different virtues you may have seen in other types of lore. And they're chosen that way because we really feel that the ones we chose here embody the spirit of that elvenly kind of, righteous kind of sentiment. And also, didn't we say like the order also kind of follows these virtues as well?
Oh yeah, the second.
Yeah.
Their holy text. One of the chapters is actually the virtues. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
So
yeah. So this is
very much
in
their
so
society.
the elves naturally the whole order and the
that's
the
all,
right side of
all
society is kind of congruent.
So gypsies. So we said we were gonna do it. So we're gonna do it. We're changing the gypsy name from what they call themselves to Wildkin. Instead, gypsies, of course, though, is not going everywhere, because if I'm from Sargon, you better believe that I'm watching out for gypsies. But if I'm a wildkin, and I have other wildkin buddies, then I'll probably refer to them as that because we're all wildkin. And so it kind of ties into a little bit more of a nature, animal-oriented race than kind of like a human that lives in the woods.
Right.
Even though it's kind of what it is. So the first thing that we did here is Constitution got lowered, so they got nerfed on Con, but it now matches humans. So now you can't pull any, sneaky tricks to try and determine if a human is a gypsy based on their hit points. They have the exact same hit point progression, so it's much harder to tell between a human and a gypsy.
Yeah, it's definitely still illegal to be a wildkin, like, running around. Like, if someone sees you, they're going to assume, as far as the rest of the world, that you're, like, a wild animal. Now, if someone's there, like, and you're owned, if someone's there and you're, like, an owned animal, that's, like, a separate thing that, like, they may not think anything about it. But still, you have to remember that in Sargon proper, owning, a wildkin in the city is, like,
town guard decides it's time to put Old Yeller down, then they're putting Old Yeller down.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
All right,
so control the beast. We got rid of the resist force transformation, so now, if you're stuck in a situation where someone does a cool ritual or something with Bendis and they force transform you, you can transform out of it, but you're not going to just be able to resist the effect. You're still going to have to transform. And then, of course, the silver damage. So the Curse of Bendis is only going to be active if you embrace the curse or are a Varkalak. So it's not going to be on every...
Hang tight. People are saying that we don't have audio right now.
No, we're seconds... the live stream is seconds behind us.
They're behind us, by a few seconds.
Okay, so
All
it should be...
My bad.
We'll let it catch up to make sure everyone's...
Yeah, I think what you said is right. That we caught the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
All right, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Now, instead of every gypsy just having the Curse of Bendis, because that actually caused a interesting loophole that some of you may or may not have been aware of that was being used. If you took a human and just stabbed him, or a gypsy and stabbed them with 1 silver damage, you could tell the difference between a human or a gypsy. You would just stab them with normal damage, and let's say that a human or a gypsy would have 8 hit points. You stab them for one bronze damage. Well, if they died in 8 hits, then all good. But then when you stab them with 1 silver damage, they would only die in 4 hits. So all you needed to do to discover a gypsy was go around and
stabbing everyone.
You just had to stab everyone, but it wasn't that hard to go and do to discover who was what. So now you don't have to worry about having the double from silver unless you embrace the curse. So embrace the curse also is a very powerful ability. I mean, it's probably the most powerful advantage there is with the bonuses you get from 1 point. 2 claw damage, 1 strength, and 2 toughness. So now your trade-off is that you also take double from silver. And of course, a lot of people were asking us about having that gypsy build that didn't force you to embrace the curse. And so now you're not penalized by taking double from silver for not embracing the curse.
Yeah, non-transformed gypsy build.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see that. There was a few that ascended last iteration. I'd like to see it again. So now we have pack mentality is a new ability. So something that we thought that the gypsies needed was a way to kind of form a pack for a time. So, if they all went Varkalak form or enraged on each other, they wouldn't just slaughter each other. So now you can form a pack. On a 5-minute ritual, you choose 5 targets, and those characters, you're not forced to attack them. And so you can enrage, and you're not going to kill your 4 or 5 buddies. But an hour or 2 later, you might. That's how gypsies roll. They might come together for just 1 instance, and then after that, still be enemies. And of course, you're not forced to not attack them. You can just choose not to attack them when you're enraged. The other thing that this builds into is your classic pet gypsy build. So if you want to be a pet gypsy, you can just use pack mentality with your master or owner before you go into combat, and then you won't have to worry about attacking them if you enrage.
Yeah. Also, since you can just choose to not attack while you're enraged, you totally still could if you were riding the red wave of claw destruction. So it always kind of leaves in there unless you later on in Embrace Curse 2 pick up Servitude as a canine. There's always a chance that Wildkin is actually really just a feral gypsy waiting to kill everybody. Okay. You never really can tell.
Guys, we got a quick question from Jenna. Jenna is saying, do we have to be a Wildkin to be in the pack? No. Can it be just Wildkin?
Can be anyone. Anyone can join the pack when they activate it.
Yeah, you decide your pack. You decided at the time you activated it.
We've thought about it. If it becomes too overpowered, that is definitely a route we could take to nerf it, that it could only be other Wildkin. But for now, we're going to try and just see if, to use it, your gypsy is going to have to out themselves as being a gypsy. So we think it'll be interesting. And something else. The reason it's important about the Enrage, because we haven't gotten to the rules section yet, Enrage has been combined with Berserk now. So the Enrage ailment not only gives you +2 strength where you attack everybody, you also become immune to future ailments. So that is in particular why a gypsy, or you're going to start seeing a lot more gypsies enraging themselves. They have to attack everybody and kill everyone, but they don't have to
fall asleep.
Yeah. And they don't, exactly. They don't have to fall asleep or take any poisons or anything. So now, everyone was kind of like, oh, well, gypsies, that's just an annoying gypsy, don't worry about them. Well, now you really might want to think about a pack of gypsies, because they're all going to go into Varkalak form, potentially, all enrage, all become immune to ailments, and then go into your cabin and slaughter all of your friends. So you should think about that when you decide to let gypsies walk around town freely and not on leashes. And of course, one with nature, we decided to change that some. Before, you would use one with nature to absorb a specific element type, and then by doing that, you would gain the attunement to that element, and it was all complex. So now it's just a simple, you absorb an attack that just has an element tagline in it, and you restore 10 health. And a slight buff to Wild Meditation as well as Nap for later, but you gain 1 hit point per minute that you spend napping, but it's a minimum of 5 minutes. So that means you can now take a nap for 30 minutes and heal for 30 instead of having to take a nap or meditate for an entire hour. So you can use your Wild Meditation, you know, for however many hit points you may have and get that healing. And then, big announcement here. Well, forgot about Feline. So, Feline now has Pierce defenses. So instead of just being able to add Pierce to a spell, they can add Pierce to the next spell or physical attack that they make. So, watch out for those Feline gypsies. They're going to be dangerous. And then, of course, Tree Meld 2. If you haven't noticed already, we are bringing back invisibility. Yes. But invisibility is not going to be something that you access at lower tiers, and as you can see here, you can just activate it while touching a tree to become invisible, and you can't move. So you'll slowly build into invisibility instead of having a bunch of tier 1 characters and tier 2 characters running around the game invisible. You'll slowly gain access to it. So if you're one of those characters that really wanted to go a stealth build, but you're just really not a stealthy person, then you will have that advantage on certain builds. Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Varkalak?
But Varkalak is...
Varkalak hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Varkalak.
If you change into a Varkalak, you have to eat somebody to change out of it, or all your IAs belong to us. And we don't know yet if we're going to tell you what your character does during that IA time, but they do something. And we know what they do.
No, probably not. It's probably going to be the classic, like, feral, like, what the fuck happened? Why do I taste blood in my mouth? Why are my clothes shredded? Where did, like, these human body parts come from?
Yeah, so...
Nobody say the W word. We don't... It's not this game. That's another game.
True.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what that is.
Okay, so... Now we have Half-Orcs. So Half-Orcs, they are not getting the rumored combat affinity, but instead they're getting combat prodigy, similar to humans, where they'll be able to advance in combat lists by only needing 3 advantages instead of 4, so they can get it much quicker. So I think this will help out the Half-Orc builds because you really want those better advantages in combat while still being able to purchase racials. Or some cool spells or something. So
7 AP dodge is still 7 AP dodge, guys.
Yep, it still is. And then some slight changes with their shamanism. So something very interesting. We kept their mystic casting, but it became an advantage. So now you have to purchase mystic casting to get into magic, and it gives you a totem. The totem can contain a single spell. You can scribe 1 spell onto your totem, and your totem is soulbound to you. So this also combos with, you can see, shamanism. So you can deliver, activating shamanism, a single spell as arcane for free. But it has to be the spell that is scribed onto your totem. So now all shaman casters are going to have a cute little, pet totem. I guess it doesn't have to be cute, actually. It could be